All right, let's set the scene. It's 1990. We're in Hokkaido, Japan's northernmost island. The country is a massive economic powerhouse, but one spiritual leader sees a huge problem hiding in plain sight. He gets up and delivers this fiery speech that basically challenges the entire Japanese idea of harmony and lays out this incredibly bold vision for the world. So in this explainer, we're going to unpack that powerful message, and boom, the speech kicks off with this really powerful question. He's looking out at the calm, beautiful scenery of Hokkaido, and he's essentially asking, hey, is this real peace? Or are you guys just kind of stuck? He wasn't just admiring the harmony. He was challenging it. He was calling for a fire, a real passion for progress, to ignite in the north. Okay, so to really get what he's building towards, we're going to follow his train of thought step by step. We'll start with that challenge he threw down, then dig into what he called the paradox of prosperity in Japan, and then we'll see how all of that builds up to this huge global mission for a new kind of utopia. All right, section 1. So what was the deal with that challenge? I mean, he wasn't saying harmony is a bad thing, not at all. For him, the real key was that we needed to completely rethink what harmony actually means. And this is really the core of his argument. He basically splits harmony into two different ideas. On one hand, you've got the harmony of like a still pond. Yeah, it's peaceful, but nothing's happening, right? It's stagnant. But the other kind, the one he calls the true divine ideal, is more like the harmony of a spinning galaxy. It's in constant motion, always evolving, always progressing, but it's still perfectly balanced. And he says that achieving that kind of harmony, well, that's the ultimate spiritual test for all of us. So, this whole idea about harmony leads him right into his main diagnosis of the problem he saw in Japan. You know, on the surface, everything looked amazing. Japan was totally prosperous, but he's arguing that just underneath all that success, there was this massive spiritual emptiness. And you really have to remember the context here. We're talking 1990. Japan was an absolute economic titan. I mean, the whole world was looking at them in awe. They had reached the absolute peak of material success. And that's exactly what worried the speaker. He believed all that incredible wealth was just a mask hiding this deep, profound emptiness. He really hammers this point home with a great story. He says, imagine a foreign journalist sitting down with one of Japan's top thinkers and asking this incredibly simple but just devastating question. Look, you guys have won the economic game. You've got all the money. So what's next? What's the point of it all? And the answer he got back was just stunning. We don't know. To not think about it is what it is to be Japanese. Whoa. For the speaker, that wasn't just some random answer. It was a sign of a massive national crisis. Here was a country that had absolutely perfected how to make money, but had totally lost track of why. But here's the thing. This wasn't just Japan's problem to figure out by itself. The speaker's point was that the whole world was watching. They were waiting for Japan to give them something more than just, cars and electronics. The world was looking for real answers, and Japan just didn't have any. He tells this really striking story about the head of Iran state broadcasting just showing up at his headquarters. And this was not a business meeting. This was a man from a country that had been completely torn apart by war. He'd read just one single pamphlet, and he traveled all that way, not for money, not for technology, but for hope. I mean, just think about what this visitor was really asking for. He wasn't there for a loan. He was there for a philosophy. His plea was basically, your country is rich and peaceful. You guys must have figured something out. Please, teach us how to be happy. The world wasn't begging for Japan's money, it was begging for its wisdom. So, okay, after painting this really vivid picture, a nation that's rich but has no direction, and a world that's desperate for answers, the speaker then pivots to his solution. And it's this huge two-part mission that he says will solve both problems at the same time. And the logic here is pretty simple. It's a two-step plan that works from the inside out. So step 1 is all internal. It's about individual enlightenment, a personal awakening for every single person. And only after that comes step 2. All of those awakened people work together to build a real utopia, a society that finally cracks the code on how to balance that constant progress with true harmony. But, achieving enlightenment can sound a little out there, kind of abstract. So what does that actually look like day to day? Well, the speaker then gets really specific about the active role he thinks every single one of us has to play in this. And this is where he brings in this really cool term, a producer of happiness. Now, this isn't just about feeling happy yourself, it's about getting so good at it, mastering it so completely that you can actually generate it whenever you need to, and then share it with other people. You become like a spiritual doctor for a world that's hurting. To become one of these producers, you've got to make a huge shift in how you see things. He argues that most of us are stuck in what he calls seeking mode. We think happiness is all about getting love from other people. But the real path, he says, is to completely flip that idea on its head. It's about becoming a source, a fountain of giving love with no strings attached. That, he says, is the secret to tapping into the divine. And this wasn't just some nice philosophical idea. Oh no, this was a straight-up call to action, and it had a deadline. He set a very specific goal for that year: create 50,000 producers of happiness. He was literally trying to build an army of enlightened people, with the mission of changing not just Japan, but the entire planet. Okay, an army of 50,000 enlightened people? I mean, that sounds kind of impossible, right? So what's the fuel for this whole thing? What's the power source for such a massive change? Well, this is where the speech really builds to its climax, as he reveals the single engine that he says makes all of this possible. And that engine is belief, or shinnen in Japanese. And the way he explains it is really cool. He actually breaks down the word itself. The first part, shin, is all about accepting a divine idea with a pure, totally open heart, just taking it in. The second part, nen, is about focusing every single ounce of your energy to make that idea a reality right here on Earth. It's this perfect, powerful combination of vision and action. And this, right here, is the absolute peak of his message. The speaker just lays it all out. This focused power of belief is the strongest force in the entire universe. It's stronger than money, stronger than political power, stronger than any academic knowledge. It is, he claims, the one and only tool that can actually build a utopia on Earth. So in the end, the whole speech really circles all the way back to that first challenge he laid down, and it leaves us with this huge question to think about. Can we really have both? Can immense, unending progress and profound, perfect harmony actually exist at the same time? The vision he laid out says a definite yes, and it argues the key isn't something we find out there in the world, but it's inside us, in the focused, unstoppable power of what we choose to believe.